Well, welcome back, everybody. We are back doing interviews. As you can see, I have a guest back again today. Today we have Derrick Weltz from Canada, another Canadian boy. The last Canadian boy we had on the channel was Tom Guest. So I'm pretty sure the two of you guys know each other.
Yeah, we've been playing against each other for a while, a hot minute.
Yeah.
We haven't played against each other in a couple of years, but that'll change next year, as we'll talk about here.
Yeah, so that's really good. It's a good trying to showcase more of the Canadians finally moving to the national stage, because we don't have much of that here in Canada, and there's not many Canadian guys and teams out there really. So, but we'll get started. For people who don't know who you are and what you do in paintball, introduce yourself. How long have you been playing? What teams do you play for? What teams are you playing on? We'll go from there.
All right, sounds good. So yeah, I'm Derrick Weltz, as Andrew introduced me. I've been playing paintball. I think my first time playing paintball recreationally with the youth group was 1999. My first tournament was 2002 Blizzard Ball at I think it was Paintball Revolution there in Woodstock. Dwayne Summerhays, a local guy, and even on the grand scale of things, everybody knows him around this paintball industry. And since then, I've been played on a plethora of teams, but more notably, recently RC Seadogs. Back in the CXBL days, played on Cambridge Raiders. I'd say those are the more notable teams. Nothing grand, a lot of local stuff. I also run and own the Ontario Paintball League, which is Canada's largest league. Next year, we're going into our 10th season. So it's been a long time coming. It's a lot of work behind the scenes. But I look forward to it every year. And, I love building the paintball community up. And yeah. So.
Yeah. No, that's great. And talking about the OPL, that brings us to the second question. Like you said, OPL in Canada. For people who don't really know what that is or looking to get into competitive paintball more, talk more about that. What's that?
Yeah, so when I started the OPL, a lot of my teammates and friends were getting to the later stage of their lives, starting families. So I wanted to gear the OPL towards guys that can't dedicate, all their weekends all summer to paintball. So it's a one-day tournament. It's same rules as like the National X-Ball League. So it's split deck format. Depending what division you play, it's a 10-minute, 12-minute, or 15-minute game. But all of your games take place on one day for your prelims, quarterfinals, semifinals, finals. We only offer 3 preliminary matches, where most other X-Ball leagues do offer 4 preliminary matches. But this allows us to get through one day. And so you can get home to your wife, your family, or take one less day off work. We also do blind layouts, so there's you don't have to practice. A lot of the top teams do practice, and I think practicing is is like not mandatory, but it's definitely an advantage if you want to take paintball seriously and compete at the highest levels. And after talking to the field owners after a couple of years, I don't think there's any downswing in the amount of teams practicing and how busy their fields are. That's a big concern I hear from a lot of fields stateside, is if MXL ever went blind layouts, practice would just drop. But I don't think that's the case. Teams still want to get out there and practice, and it allows those fields that can't afford an airball set to still practice and compete, right? So that's a huge thing for me. And I actually feel the OPL has a lot of those small fields putting teams in year after year, because they don't have to go and invest $10,000 on an airball field. You can set up some wood pallets, and that's how I started playing paintball, was wood pallets, tin siding, and rain barrels. Okay. So, I think I think blind layouts are good for the game. And so those are two of the big differences we see between the OPL and other major tournament series. We host 5 events. Because we're in Canada, they are pushed closer together from generally May to October. Outside of those months, there's no guaranteed weather. So it's really tough, especially going into April. Yeah, sometimes we get nice days, but it's a lot of heavy rain, and rain will just destroy grass if you get playing on. So we try to avoid April at all costs.
Yeah, and you guys play out of Wasaga Beach in Wasaga Beach Paintball in Wasaga Beach, and then Adrenaline Paintball in Melbourne. And is there another, or are those just the two fields?
No, the last couple of years, those have been only 2 locations. We were using flag swipe for our first year. We did flag swipe. Then we used Flag Raiders for a couple of years, and then Flag Raiders were shut down. Flag Swipe we just outgrew. And yeah, so right now those are the only 2 fields that can really max the capacity that we need. I would love to go back to going to 5 locations. Every event a different one.
Yeah,
it's what I always did. The first year I loved doing it. I would probably never go to a non-paintball location again. We did it year 1, and it was just a nightmare. Maybe it's learning curve now. I could go back and, fix what I did wrong. But I tried prepping them and telling them, there's going to be paintballs everywhere. And we were at a little camping resort on Rice Lake, and it was a beautiful venue. And I warned them, and I said, the campers are going to be picking up paintballs, and they're going to end up everywhere. And they realized how big it was afterwards. I would rather keep the money in paintball, have players going to different paintball fields, seeing their facilities. That'd be my dream if I could get 5 locations with 2 fields, travel around Ontario and do that. But it's also catering to my market as well. Going year after year, we get questions about why don't you go towards close to Ottawa? That's still Ontario. And yes, that's true. But it's like 90% of my teams are from the GTA. Yeah. All my reps are from the GTA. And I can't justify going, getting games done at 6 o'clock at night, tearing down my staff gate out of there at 7:30, and then hitting the road for 6-7 hours. We all have full-time jobs and careers and, families to get back to safely. So that's why we don't really go up that way too much. I would love to, but it's just the logistics and it gets costly going up that far just with hauling my OPL show trailer up there and everything like that as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's the big thing, because we played out in Ottawa for the past couple of years now and at Commando Paintball, and like we do the retail trailer with Intensity Customs, and exactly what you said, like we're done tearing down 7:30, 8 o'clock, and then it's a 6-hour drive home. It sucks.
Yeah. We used to do it year after year for CXBL. And, CXBL always used long weekends. So generally we would have the Monday off, sometimes the Friday off, and you wouldn't have the drive home. But when I'm booking events, I avoid long weekends at all costs. Wives and girlfriends put up a lot of crap with us paintballers being away on weekends. And the last thing we need to do is throw it on long weekends and piss them off even more.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I don't know how half of us are still married, but
I think the first couple of years of OPL, when my wife first had our first son, every year was on Mother's Day, and I got flack for that year after year. But
and we've played Wasaga Beach and we've played at Adrenaline, and now I've definitely noticed with you guys going there for the OPL that both facilities for speedball have definitely improved a lot over the years. Wasaga kind of sort of always had a little bit of good infrastructure. Adrenaline definitely has stepped their game up with their infrastructure and everything, I've noticed over the years. So that's nice to see for like open play and everything else on the weekends when you guys aren't hosting the tournament. It's good for everybody, I think. So
yeah, and I know both those fields, they really they do a lot of open plays, as you're saying, and they get, from my understanding, really good attendance from those. And that's another reason why blind layouts are so good is, back in the CXDBL days when we were practicing every weekend, we'd book the field privately to a couple teams, and there'd be nowhere for new players that want to try out the sport to come and play. So now with blind layouts, if my team was practicing on a blind layout, it's like, hey, yeah, my guys, we need to be playing together, but we can throw random in with us because we don't need to learn this layout. We're just here getting our, gun skills up and communication up, and, one random player or 2 random players isn't going to hurt us at all.
Yeah.
When we're grinding for an NXL practice on a layout weekend, we always get requests, oh, can we come out and play with you? It's like, well, we got one weekend to learn this layout. A lot of these other teams are practicing 3-4 days. We only have 2 days. So it's like we have to get every minute we can on this layout as a team. And, I wish we could make more room for players to hop on with us and just, get to know us better and get reps with us. And that's one thing we're going to do better for next year is we're going to do what we're going to call semi-private practices, where we open up X amount of slots to people that want to come in and practice with us and get better. It's kind of like I don't want to call it a clinic, but it's, it's a one-on-one, if there's going to be 10, 12 Seadogs there, there's going to be 10 or 12 spots, maybe 15 spots for, random people to sign up. So it's almost going to be like a one-on-one clinic essentially. So.
Oh, that's cool. That'd be really good. So that should be good I would think that'd be pretty good attendance.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But that's good. And, like we were saying, and you mentioned, you're on the Seadogs. We went to World Cup this year, guys. Our guys did, and we were able to watch you guys play a little bit. But you came off an absolutely amazing year. You guys won World Cup 2024 in Florida in semi-pro, and it's kind of more advertised now. But the rumor had it is that the Seadogs bought Blast Camp's pro spot for 2025.
Yeah. So, it's true. By the time this is out, it's 100% true, and everybody knows that we did acquire a pro spot. It wasn't an easy decision by any means. There's the core of us that created this ownership group for the Seadogs. We discussed heavily the pros and cons of doing it, and it came down to a lot of our players. There's 4 or 5 guys, or 3 or 4 guys, I think, that had pro offers. And they were going to stay loyal to us if we did decide to do another year semi-pro. But it's such a bloodbath in that division. All you need is one bad event and you're the pro running spot. And we knew that going into that following year, or like next year, if we had that bad event, guys might start taking up these pro offers and going to see that. And, we just felt it like, for the Seadogs, we owed it to us to go ahead and get that pro spot, even though we came just shy, 12 points shy of getting it. And I think since the NXL started, there was only like 2 or 3 years, I think, where we wouldn't have won that pro spot based off our performance this year. So we were the only semi-pro team that hit the finals field 3 times. New York Extreme won 2 events. We only won 1, but we had 2 second places. So there, we were consistent, but Leverage just had a greater year with always being in the top 4, and we had a 6th and an 8th place, which ultimately hurt us. So there was just that discussion, and with, the refs out there doing a great job, but all it takes is one missed call. They're all humans. It's just like I see it in the OPL side as well, right? Like it's staying on the sidelines, you see it differently than the refs see on the field, and sometimes just one missed call can put you out of a tournament. And sure, we could have spent another $50,000 next year playing semi-pro and fighting for that pro spot. But, and ultimately we could have won it. We could have not won it. Like, we don't know the future. So we decided just to pull the trigger, get that pro spot when it became available to us. And our goal is to have a lasting pro franchise in Canada and keep it all Canadian. Give up and coming players in Canada something to strive towards. When I was up coming, they're like, there was Edmonton Impact, but, after I'd say I think it was 2007, 2008, they started really bringing in Americans and just started paying people. And like, all of a sudden it's not a Canadian team anymore, really, right? Like the last 10 years, 15 years, it's just a heavily financed team, which, hey, kudos to Bart for bringing that much money into paintball and doing it that way. But that's not what our goal is. We want to, be a blue collar team and only bring up these Canadian boys and, find the next best talent in Canada. And, it's great for us because we have the OPL. A lot of the Seadogs guys work the OPL, run the OPL. So we get to watch the next, wave of new players coming in, and we get to pick up that talent that we like, and we can start inviting them to our practices and stuff like that. So yeah.
No, that'll be good. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing you guys in the pros and in the pro division and watching that. But that pretty much answers my next question of how the NXL this year, I'm sure you've been watching, the moves are freaking insane so far this year, and it's not even the new year yet. But like you said, you're keeping it more Canadian, so you don't have any plans to get any like big name pro guys out.
No, nothing big. We would invite some already established Canadian pros. We have a roster of 9 going into next year. We'd love to have 10, especially by second event. First event, we're going to be flying to and practicing in Tampa, so it doesn't really slow much down them. But our practice regimen is just practicing ourselves. So having a roster of 10s, not super important. We can always bring in 1 or 2 good players to round out that roster. But we love having 2 lines of 5 and just mix matching in, just beating the crap out of each other for 8 hours each day. And so like, we're not going to go after any big names. We don't have a payroll to pay anybody. We did lose Garrett Baldwin after World Cup. He talked to me. We didn't have the spot secured yet when he talked to me and told me he was leaving, and he left on good terms. We'd love to have him back someday, but he just got an offer he couldn't turn down, and something we can't match. And I'm personally really looking forward to playing the Ironman. Hopefully we get to do that. We could have 9 out of 10 Canadians on the field.
Yeah.
When we play them right with any 5 of the Seadogs, and then I think as long as the roster doesn't change too much more, they'll have at least 4 Canadians on that team. So
yeah,
that'd be a heavily Canadian match there, and I'd love to see that. It's something cool, right? Something I don't think that's ever happened before.
No, I don't think so. I think that'd be a first, and that would be a match to watch for sure. That'd be really interesting because, like you said at the beginning of the interview, you guys, there's a bunch of you that you've grown up kind of in the sport together, so you've played at different levels, and now you're at the top level. So it'd be good to kind of see the rematch, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but no, that'd be good. I really am looking forward, especially with all this mix up with the other pro teams. I'm really looking forward to this NXL season for sure. But that's pretty much it for the interview. The last thing that I always do on the interview is I hand the channel over to you and give you an opportunity to promote yourself, promote the league, promote the Seadogs. Like, where can they find more information for the OPL? Where can they follow the Seadogs and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, so OPL, our most up-to-date area to watch for OPL stuff is on our Facebook page, Ontario Paintball League. If you're new to the sport or want to get into tournament paintball, a good place to go is check out OPL discussion and free agents. A lot of new players post up there saying like, hey, where can I find tryouts, or is there any teams in my area? I'd like to get into it. And the community is more than receptive. People love getting new people into it and getting new faces out. We offer beginner all the way up to Premier Division, which is D6, D5, D4, D3, and then Premier. So there's lots of spots for you to jump in at any skill range. And as for the Seadogs, also Facebook's our main go-to, Royal City Seadogs. We are going to be launching pre-order things for supporters and stuff like that. So, jerseys, tech tees, a lot of exclusive stuff. Also, as I mentioned before, with our semi-private practices, I think we're going to be launching kind of like a season pass type thing. So you can lock yourself in for all those at a discounted rate. And it's not going to be astronomical, and we're going to do something cool. We don't have all the details finalized yet, but we're going to do something cool for each one of those semi-private practices, where if you sign up, you're going to get like one of our event tees, which is only going to be limited to team members than people at that practice. So it might only be 20 or 25 printed, and you're going to have one of our event tees. So we're going to do something along those lines. We don't exactly have it finalized yet, but we want to offer the guys that show up and want to be there with us a little bit added incentive. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We as the Seadogs absolutely love all the support that the Canadians have given us throughout our journey of, coming up in semi-pro and after winning World Cup. The amount of messages all the guys get, they absolutely love it. All the posts and shares on Facebook, it doesn't go unnoticed. Our social media following is just astronomical, and I think, there's going to be big things for the Seadogs, and thank you, Andrew, for setting this up and doing what you do. All these little to small media guys that do everything behind the scenes is just amazing, and that's really what grows paintball, and getting more media out there and videos and content, and letting people tell their side of the story, and and everything that happens behind the scenes is great for it. So yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. I love doing this. This is what I thoroughly enjoy it, and I like the interview parts of it, because I try not to do like what some of the other guys do, like the spick and span and all that, where it's like an hour or two. I try to get down and dirty, and like you said, you tell your story, get it out, and then then we move on and just let social media take it from there.
Yeah, exactly.
But thank you very much for doing this. Best of luck to you and the Seadogs in the 2025 season and beyond. And I will catch you guys next video.
Thanks, Andrew.